Hannah and Bindi sat in stunned silence, staring at the employee-turned-intruder. They were both scared about what he might do to keep his secret from getting out. Should they scream for help? The man took a deep breath before speaking. Listen to me for a moment. I wasn't breaking in to steal or hurt an animal. I was trying to gather hard evidence to prove what is really going on here at this so-called sanctuary. The dose gave him a quizzical look. I don't know what you are talking about, Hannah said honestly. Let me explain. This is an animal sanctuary and breeding center by day. It is a different story at night. They use part of the grounds as a reserve where men pay good money to hunt game for sport. Now Bindi was confused. No, that cannot be right. Tabu said it is for protecting the antelope. The man shook his head and continued. Her colleague and I figured out what was going on here a few weeks ago. Antelope numbers were decreasing and we didn't know why. We have been trying to collect evidence ever since, but it is difficult. Brian is a powerful man and security is really tight. We are searched whenever we arrive or leave the grounds. Bindi shook her head slowly. How do we know you are telling the truth? The man threw up his hands in frustration. He began to pace the room and seemed to forget about them altogether. Hannah studied a man as he paced. He could be telling the truth, Bindi, she ventured hesitantly. Bindi shrugged. She didn't know what to believe. The man paused and stared incredulously at Bindi. Bindi? Steve's Bindi? Bindi looked at him tentatively. Huh? Steve was my dad. The man slowly sank into a chair. This is incredible. Bindi Irwin. Bindi looked over at Hannah, surprised. What was going on? Suddenly he was all action. Are you Bindi Irwin who lives at Australia Zoo? Daughter of Terry and Steve Irwin? Are you a global wildlife warrior whose mission is to protect animals who cannot protect themselves? I am, admitted Bindi wearily. I'm just not sure if you are on the same mission. The man thought about it. I can tell you something that proves that I knew your dad pretty well, okay? Bindi shrugged. You can try. Your dad took a trip to Cape York 3 years ago to visit a crop sanctuary up there. Did he come home and talk about a guy called Mike Satchwell? He showed me photos from that trip. Bindi stared at the man. It gradually dawned on her. You're in those photos with my dad, but you didn't have a beard then. Bindi made a quick decision. Turning to Hannah, she said, We can trust Mike. Mike stepped forward to shake their hands. I should have introduced myself earlier. I guess your camera was the one they smashed, said Hannah. Mike let out a loud breath. Did they? We weren't sure if they picked it up. We already had great footage of them hunting, and we were going back to take a few more shots. I dropped the camera while running away. All our evidence is gone. Hannah smiled. So you don't have a camera, but you still have this. She searched in her pocket and pulled out a tiny memory card. I saw it among the broken pieces of your camera when I bent down to tie my shoelace. Mike's face lit up. Fantastic. This is all the evidence we need. Smart thinking. Well, I'm not just a pretty face, Hannah couldn't help but feel pleased with herself. And by the way, that lion set you off. Mike nodded. That lion was me. Mike shook his head in disbelief. "You're kidding. We were scared off by a young girl?" He laughed. "Wait till the guys hear about that one. We will never live it down." Bindi cleared her throat. "Just a moment, guys. We have animals to rescue and a group to expose." Mike began searching through the cupboards. "There should be a camera in here somewhere. We keep one handy for the tourists. Help me look." The three of them started looking in every nook and cranny in the office. Finally Bindi let out a whoop of delight and held up a good quality camera, similar to the one the dad had smashed. Mike took it and slid the memory card into the tiny compartment. Fingers crossed that this will work. The three watched anxiously as the card loaded.